That'll be B plus audible. Ready, B uniform.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
How many men ever went to the barbecue and would let one man take off the table what's intended for 9/10 of the people to eat? The only way you'll ever be able to feed the balance of the people is to make that man come back and bring back some of that grub he ain't got no back.
E is equal mc square.
This week on the Wayback, we have Orson Welles and John Houseman's Campbell Playhouse production of Mutiny on the Bounty from January 18th, 1939.
The makers of Campbell Soups present the Campbell Playhouse. Orson Welles, producer. Good evening, listeners. This is Ernest Chappell speaking. Tonight, the Campbell Playhouse presents Orson Welles in his own radio version of that great sea story, Mutiny on the Bounty.
Good evening, this is Orson Welles. On the 12th of September, 1792, there occurred in England the most remarkable court-martial in maritime history. 7 naval officers and men were on trial for their lives before the Lords Commissioner of the Admiralty on charge of high treason. Revelations at this trial of conditions prevailing on the ships of the British Navy came finally to exert a powerful influence in humanizing the administration of the world's navies and making more tolerable life at sea.
Prisoners, stand forth. Roger Byam, midshipman.
Here, sir.
James Morrison, boatswain's mate.
Here, sir.
William Purcell, ship's carpenter.
Yes, sir.
Thomas Burkitt, seaman.
Yes, sir.
John Mills, seaman.
Here, sir.
Thomas Ellison, seaman.
Here, sir.
You are here to be tried by a special court of naval inquiry assembled aboard His Majesty's flagship Duke under Article 19 of the Naval Articles of War, which read as follows. If any person in or belonging to the fleet shall make or endeavor to make any mutinous assembly upon any pretense whatsoever, every person offending herein, being convicted thereof by the sentence of the court-martial, shall suffer death.
First witness to the Crown, Captain Bligh.
Captain Bligh?
Yes, my lord. Captain Bligh, have you any statement to make to this court concerning the mutiny aboard His Majesty's ship Bounty while under your command in the great South Seas?
I have, sir. I have prepared a statement which I now beg the court's permission to read.
The court will hear your statement, Captain Bligh.
I respectfully beg to submit to the Lords Commissioner of the Admiralty the information that His Majesty's armed vessel Bounty, under my command, was taken from me by some of the superior officers and men on the 28th day of April 1789 in the following manner. A little before sunrise, Fletcher Christian, who was mate of the ship and officer of the watch, together with the accused and certain others of the crew, came into my cabin and while I was asleep seized me in my bed and with cutlasses and bayonets fixed at my breast threatened me with instant death if I spoke or made the least noise. I was hauled on deck in my shirt and without a rag else. The boatswain was ordered to hoist the launch out, and the officers and men who remained loyal were ordered into the boat. We then veered astern, and all 19 souls. The boat was so lumbered and deep in the water that it was believed we should never reach shore. The size of the boat was 23 feet from stem to stern, rowed 6 oars. After considering our melancholy situation, I was earnestly solicited by all hands to take them toward home. Therefore, after commending our souls to God, I bore away for New Holland and Timor, across a sea but little known, in a small boat laden with 19 souls, without a single map of any kind, and nothing but my own recollection and general knowledge of the situation of places to direct us. After enduring dangers and privations impossible to describe, we sighted Timor on the 12th of June, and on the morning of the 15th before daylight, I anchored under the fort of the Dutch settlement at Kupang. This voyage, in an open boat, I believe to be unparalleled in the history of navigation. One thing I wish to add, that on the night preceding the mutiny, coming up on deck during the middle watch, according to my custom, I discovered Fletcher Christian, the ringleader of the mutineers, in earnest conversation with Roger Byam, midshipman, one of the accused. In the darkness of the deck, I was not observed by these men who were standing on the starboard side of the quarterdeck between the guns. Nor had I any apprehension at that time that their conversation was not innocent. But as I approached unseen, I saw Roger Byam shake hands with Christian. And I distinctly heard him say these words, "You can count on me," to which Christian replied, "Good. That's settled then." The moment they discovered me, they broke off their talk. I have not the slightest doubt that this conversation concerned the forthcoming mutiny. It is all, my lord.
Roger Byam, stand forth.
Roger Byam, you have been accused with others of mutinous and piratical seizure of His Majesty's armed vessel Bounty. You have heard the Crown's witness. Roger Byam, do you plead guilty or not guilty?
My lord and gentlemen, I declare before God and the members of this court that I am innocent, that I have never been guilty either in thought or in deed of the crime of which I am charged.
Roger Byam, the court is now ready to receive whatever you may have to say in your own defense.
My lords, I joined His Majesty's Armed Transport Bounty as a midshipman on the 21st of December, 1787. We were off Spithead, lying to for stores and crews to come aboard. I remember my first sight of the Bounty. The crew crowded in the afterdeck around the huddled form of a man, lashed to the capstan spar, and Captain Bligh reading from an Admiralty order.
If any person in or belonging to His Majesty's fleet shall strike or endeavor to strike an officer, he shall be flogged in turn on board every ship of the fleet. Master at Arms?
Yes, sir.
How many lashes are due from our ship?
2 dozen, sir.
Very well. Mr. Morrison?
Yes, Captain Bligh.
2 dozen lashes.
1 moment, Captain.
Yes, Surgeon.
The prisoner is dead, sir.
Lucky devil, we were only the 5th ship. Well, Mr. Morrison, what are you waiting for?
But the man is dead, sir.
Yes, I heard the surgeon's report. God, my dinner's getting cold. 2 dozen lashes, Mr. Morrison. 2 dozen lashes, dead or alive.
2 dozen it is, sir.
On the morning of the 23rd of December, with 45 officers and crew aboard, and as the guns of the fleet fired a farewell salute, the Bounty set sail for Tahiti and the great South Seas.
Lieutenant Christian.
Aye, Captain Bligh.
Take charge of raising anchor, sir.
Very well, sir.
Fryer, the topsails.
Aye, sir.
Spurzel.
Aye, sir.
Tinkler.
Aye, sir.
Sergeant Hogan.
That's your service, sir.
Sergeant Hogan, you'll moderate both your voice and your rum rations. At your post.
Very well, sir.
Mr. Morrison, we're ready, sir.
Aye, sir. All hands out or down here. Lash and carry.
All men to their stations! All men to their stations!
Hold short, then.
Close the topsails.
Are you asleep on the foreloops? The main topman off the yard, are you alive? You crawling caterpillar!
We anchormen!
Yo heave ho! Yo heave ho! Close the foreguard! Ho! Get the mainsail at it! Ho! Heave hard
Lord the main tack, be lively!
Past Land's End, and the Bounty headed away to sea with Fosco said. She was a small ship, as you know, of little more than 200 tons. And the great cabin aft was rigged as a garden for the transportation of breadfruit trees from the island of Tahiti to the West Indian plantations. Thus, the ship's quarters were more than usually crowded, a circumstance which undoubtedly affected the temper of its company. The officers messed in a screened-off space on the lower deck, aft of the main hatch. At the captain's table sat Mr. Fryer, this ship's navigator, an elderly man long in the service of His Majesty's Navy, and Mr. Christian, the mate, a man of only 24, of fine presence, from a good English family.
Don't you talk to me about seamen, Mr. Christian. I know them better than you. Curse them, a lazy, incompetent lot of scoundrels. Heaven knows the captain has trials enough with such a crew. Dregs of public houses. They don't know a sheet from a tack.
I venture to differ with you, Captain Bligh. I should call Ellison and Mills first-class seamen. Even Burkett, though he may be willful...
Willful, eh? Burkett's an insolent hound. I have my eye on him. Slightest report of misconduct, I'll have him seized up and flogged.
If I may express an opinion, Captain Bligh...
Yes, Mr. Christian?
Burkett's a man to tame with kindness rather than with blows.
La-di-da, Mr. Christian. On my word, you should apply for a place as master in the young ladies' seminary. Kindness, indeed. A fine captain you'll make with such ridiculous notions. Our seamen understand kindness as well as they understand Greek. Fear is what they do understand. Without fear, mutiny and piracy would be rife on the high seas.
There's some truth in that, sir. I can't agree. Seamen don't differ from other Englishmen. There are some, the best of them, who will follow a fair and kind officer to the ends of the earth.
Rot. So as I trust them as the end of a yardarm. If you have to talk such nonsense, Mr. Christian, don't do it in my mess where I have to listen to you.
Very well, Mr. Bligh. In the future, I shall dine where my opinions are more acceptable.
From that day on, and for the rest of the voyage, Captain Bligh took his meals by himself in his cabin. In latitude 39 degrees north, just off the coast of Tenerife, we ran into heavy weather. A huge wave stove in 3 of our longboats, carried away our cases of beef, and spoiled a large part of our stock of bread. We laid into Santa Cruz for fresh supplies of water and beef. The meat that was taken on ship was so tainted the men threw most of it overboard. Captain Bligh kept the men at work, repairing the ship's boats from morning till night.
Captain Bligh?
Yes, Mr. Fryer.
Men are asking when they can start shore leave, sir.
So they can get drunk in the taverns, I suppose.
Been at sea nearly 8 weeks, sir.
Maybe 8 months before they set foot in land, and might as well get used to it. No shore leaves, Mr. Fryer.
Aye, sir.
We left Santa Cruz at the end of February. We carried no purser. Bligh filled the office himself, assisted by Samuel, his clerk, a smug, tight-lipped little man who was believed to be the captain's spy. On Monday of every week, he and Captain Bligh opened up the casks and checked over the supplies in the storeroom.
18 pounds salt beef.
18 pounds, sir.
What's wrong with that keg, Burkett?
Seems like it's been opened, sir.
Oh, so it has. Mr. Fryer, come here at once, sir.
Mr. Fryer, Captain Bligh calling you, sir.
Yes, Captain?
One of these casks has been opened and 2 cheeses are missing.
Well, they may have been short-weighted when we were provisioned, sir.
They were not, Mr. Fryer. I checked them. These cheeses were stolen.
Well, perhaps you'll recollect, sir, that while we were at Spithead, a cask was opened by your order and the cheeses carried ashore.
Hold your tongue, Burkett. Boat is manned by a pack of thieves.
Surely, Captain, you don't think that
You're all in collusion against me, officers and men. But I'll tame you, by heaven I will. I'll make you eat grass.